The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions, and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Oh, shit.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sports Insider. My name is Glenn Spillman. You are listening to us on Armed Radio. And how's everybody enjoying this freaking World Series? I mean, it has been up, down, crazy. Tonight, I'm kind of shocked, and we'll get into that here in a minute. I'm kind of shocked as to why they put Yu Darvish in. I mean, he had an ERA, the last time I looked, it was like 21. I mean, it was freaking nuts. PA County, welcome to the show. For those of you listening and watching, again, we're on Armed Radio. We are being broadcast right now in 60 different countries. And we are Sports Insiders on every Wednesday and every Friday at 6 p.m. Prior to the show, we had Johnny Blender on with whiskey, cars, and cigars. Armed Radio has a plethora of other shows. I mean, they got Pot Talk with Jimmy Bell. It's politically offensive talk. We have, Amy Chafalo that talks all about rock and roll and especially, rock and roll from 70s and 80s and history of rock. We've got Night Talk with Joe Rocks. We've got the Southern Horror Queen. I mean, there's a ton of shows. So go check out Armed Radio. Check out the shows that they offer and that they have. And let us know what you think. I will say this, though. I was watching a show on Armed Radio the other night, and I should get the name of the show, but it was a Russian lady interviewing another Russian lady. They were asking questions, and people were answering them, and they would never interact with the people that they were asking the questions. So that was something that if they do, watch this, maybe they should interact a little bit more with their audience. Just a suggestion. It's your show. Do whatever you want. But anyway, that's why we have, we've got people that watch us on Periscope TV, Facebook and whatnot. So we can interact with people. They could ask questions. They can make comments, anything about sports. So check that right now. The Houston Astros just scored again. So, I don't know why. Again, I don't know why it's 3-0 Astros. I don't know why they had Yu Darvish pitching. I don't. I mean, his ERA was over 20, and they're just getting. Just hit after hit after hit after hit. There's a guy on third right now, and from what I could see on the TV, there's 2 outs, but it looks like the Houston Astros are going to go to the promised land. Golf Love, welcome to the show. So Houston Astros, they've a little bit of history behind the Houston Astros. Johnny Blender, welcome to the show. We were just talking about your show earlier, Johnny. So Houston Astros, 1965. Thank you, brother. They were the Houston Colts, or the Colt 45s, from 62 to 64. I mean, the most notable player on the Astros ever, is Nolan Ryan. So, I mean, they have other players as well, but Nolan Ryan, so they play at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. I've been at Minute Maid Park many times. I lived in Houston for 2 years, 2004 and 5. I've been a lot of baseball games there, and I used to cover the Houston Rockets. But they have never, the Duck Egg right here, Duck Egg, never won a World Series. Everyone, people here are like, oh, come on, Astros, come on. I'm like, wait a minute. We're in California. Why are you guys going for the Houston Astros? And they said, and I quote, well, there's a lot going on in Houston right now in the city. They really need. I'm like, bull crap, dude. I'm sorry. This is sports. I'm sorry that the city's going through this. That's not a reason for you to want to win. Oh, just so the city will be happy. Yeah, the Dodgers have won World Series, several of them. Last time was 1988. You had Tommy Lasorda managing and Fernando Valenzuela, on the mound. But World Series, absolutely nothing. So, American League pennants. Well, they got the pennant in 2017. They used to be in the National League, and they won that back in 2005. Wild card berths, 2004, 2005, 2015. And it appears, it looks like the Astros just hit another home run. There's been so many home runs in this series, but Houston Astros just got another one. They need to, not that it's going to make a difference, but it's the top of the second. Why, in God green earth, do you have a pitcher with 20-run ERA as a starting pitcher? Yu Darvish has pitched 1.2 innings, has allowed 3 hits, 5 runs. Now, granted, you take the guy out now, what do you think's going to happen? Yes, it is the top of the second, but listen to this. The other day, in Houston, the Dodgers were up 4-0, and it was the second inning, and I'm going, they're done. They're done. Dodgers are going to take this freaking game, and they're going to go up 3-2. What happened? Houston just kept coming back. They had 3 3-run home runs, and then a single home run. And then it went into extra innings. I think it was 12-11 that night. Casey from Austin, welcome to the show. Beans with Frank, welcome to the show. So this is only the second inning. So theoretically, the Dodgers can get hot. The Dodgers can freaking score runs. But a 5-0 deficit, that is still something that is hard to do. Next Prophet says you need to take the Dodgers hat off tonight. Well, Next Prophet, you could suck it because number one, I'm from LA. And I'm a Dodger fan per se, but I'm more of a Yankee fan. Love the Yankees my whole life. I like the Dodgers. I'm from LA. There's other reasons why I like the Dodgers, but to take it off, suck it, dude. So, baseball, interesting. Anything can happen. Yu Darvish is out. You've got Moreau going in. B. Springer is the batter for the Astros. If they BT Fangirl says, "What football team do you? Do I what?" Yeah. I'm not saying I'm not giving Astros credit. Next Prophet says, give Astros credit. I keep forgetting that we're on the radio. We've got people listening on the radio and watching at the same time. I am not saying I'm not giving them credit. I am totally giving them credit. But what I'm saying is, if you're a fan of a team, you don't take the hat off when the chips are down. When the 9th inning is over, and it's the last, and if they lose, then I could tip my hat to the Astros. Then I could take the hat off and put it up till next year. Because I am not one of these guys that, I don't wear football jerseys in the middle of summer. I don't wear, and one thing, and we've talked about this before. What I don't like, say, when I go, we'll just say like the Dodgers tonight, the Dodgers and the Astros World Series, or any game for that matter. What I don't like is to see somebody in a totally other team's jersey that has nothing to do with like a Yankees jersey or a Phoenix jersey or an Oakland A's jersey. I'm like, you're not even freaking playing. Why are you wearing the jersey? I mean, they do what they want. I don't have to like it. that's just kind of a little minor irritant to me. But as far as wow, Ted Macy 4, welcome to the show. And again, guys, if you got now, I'm sure I busted the person's balls about what football team I do. I'm assuming which one I like. I like the Oakland Raiders. I've always liked the Oakland Raiders when they sucked and when they were good. Beans with Frank says, in 68, I was a kid and my teacher let us listen to the baseball games, I guess, on the, that's freaking cool. That is cool. I know they do that a lot in Chicago, especially like when Chicago, gets to the playoffs. They will let their students, listen to the game, which I think is pretty freaking cool. So let me tell you a story about why I like the Raiders. Not just because I'm from California. I like the Raiders because of this. Back in the day, I don't remember how old I was. I think I was 7 or 8. I don't remember how old I was, but I was not a teenager yet. We were in the my dad and I were in the airport in Los Angeles. So this guy comes up and asks my dad for the time. And my dad looks at him and say, dude, you're Al Davis. You mean to tell me you don't have a watch? And of course he's joking. Al Davis laughs because Al Davis had this big gold bracelet on, had diamonds all around it, and it said Al in blue stones. So he said, hey, kid, you hungry? I'm like, yeah. He's like, hey, you want to have a hot dog? I freaking know who this guy was. I'm like, yeah, let's go have a hot dog. I sat and chatted with this guy. It seemed like forever. And then my dad's like, do you know who that guy is? I'm like, no, I don't know who he is. He said his name was Al. He goes, it's Al Davis, the owner of the Oakland Raiders. And so anyway, long story short, that's why I like the Oakland Raiders, because I sat down with the owner in an airport and we had a hot dog and talked forever about just stuff. So that's kind of a personal story to me. If I had a secondary football team, Chicken Tiki Masala, welcome to the show. Beans with Frank says, I made some money with the Raiders this year. They killed me last week. Now, if you would have watched the show last week, I said don't take the freaking Raiders. Take the Bills, because the Raiders, the Bills are way too freaking hot. Way too hot. And like him or not, I'm not going to bet on my team with the heart. I got to bet on them with my brain. So, the Raiders, lost, and they just been kind of falling apart a little bit, So let's kind of go over it. And I know it's Wednesday, but we go over a little bit, of the games. But see, they lost 34-14. They didn't score in the second or third quarter, and the Bills popping it, and so I told you guys not to take the other team. I told you on your parlays, I said take the Vikings. They're going to kill the freaking Browns, and they did. The Patriots, I told you to take the Patriots. The Saints did good, so next profit, I'll give your team some props on that. 20-12. I said it would be a hard game for the Bears to go into. Dodgers just got a base hit. See, there you go. This could be the start of something. Dodgers have a guy on first. They can get another base hit, and then the guy can come up and hit a 3-run homer, and then cut the deficit in 2. That's how quick the Astros did it earlier in the week, or last week, excuse me. Falcons, they won, but it wasn't an impressive win. I told you guys on the other parlay to pick the Eagles. The Eagles slaughtered the freaking 49ers like I said they would, 33-10. Beans with Frank says, I picked 11 wins this week. Kids get a new pair of shoes. Estes, Brea, I guess, welcome to the show. Cowboys, told you to pick them. Another disappointing game was the Steelers-Lions. And then Chiefs, it's no big deal on that. But the Raiders, they are in trouble. They are 3-5. even if they win out, which it's not going to happen. So let's kind of look at the schedule real quick. So you've got the Raiders going to the Dolphins. The Dolphins, they're kind of hot and cold. So that's a possibility. But they're going to Miami. They're playing the Patriots. And I'm sorry, Boston fans that are listening right now, but the Patriots are really, really struggling right now. So the Raiders can go in and win that game. I mean, it's at home, so they can win that. The Broncos, that's always a huge rivalry, so that's a 50-50 on that. The Giants, they'll win that one. Chiefs, I think they could step up in December and win that game. Cowboys, that is always an interesting game, but the Cowboys have a lot of drama in the back office, and I think coming into Oakland, playing in the black hole, I think the Raiders take that one. The Eagles, I think the Eagles take that one. The Chargers, I think they could beat the Chargers. So, theoretically, they could have somewhat of a decent. Will they go into the playoffs? I can't say yes. If they do, they'll lose probably because the Raiders, they have issues with protecting the quarterback. Derek Carr is still, and I put this in quotes, hurt. So that could be something that he's shying away from and can't, and is backing down from because he cannot. Beans with ring. Do I read injury reports? Yes, I do. Are you asking me to read some, or do I do that in my research? Absolutely. David and Denami, welcome to the show. But the things with injury reports, here's the thing, and this isn't all the time. Some teams will not put a player on the injury report until the absolute last minute second. Others make injuries out to be more than what they are. Like they'll say, or they'll try and undercut it. Like they'll say, they have a sprained foot. Well, there is a first degree, second degree, and third degree sprain. Okay, Miss Nandi Marie, welcome to the show. If now you're not going to. Say your quarterback is injured, because if they go out there, I'm not going to say they're targeting them, but they're targeting them. Because when I played hockey, they would have the injury report on the board. And they would say, okay, I want you guys to go after this person, and this person. Now, I am not saying to injure them, just kind of rough them up a little bit, get them out of the game. For at least a couple of, few minutes at least. A couple line changes. But injury reports, and some people will say someone is injured when they're not injured. So, but the Oakland Raiders, they have problems with with protecting the QB. They have problems in defense. Defense. Bud Reck, welcome to the show. For those of you just tuning in, you're watching Sports Insider on Arms Radio out of Boston, Massachusetts. We are being aired in 60 countries right now, so I would like to say hello to everybody around the world listening in. And I will go off track just a second. Today's my daughter's 16th birthday, and she's out to dinner with her grandparents tonight, which I'm kind of glad she is, because if I may not have been able to do the show tonight. I mean, it's she's 16. You can't miss a girl's 16th birthday. So she's 16, and Desert Spider, welcome to the show. So she's doing her 16-year-old thing, but she's having dinner with I don't know where they went. She said she wanted to go to Olive Garden, and I'm like, bro, on your 16th birthday, don't go to Olive Garden. Go somewhere like, we have a steakhouse here called Black Angus. There's Cattleman's Steakhouse. There's, I said, go for steak. She loves crab. Last time I took her to what's that crab place? Joe's Crab Shack. Last time I took her there, I was with 2 other people, and she loves crab. She will just devour it. One of the guys that was with us, he ate about half of his. He goes, "Man, I don't want any more." She ate his half. Then another person was there. They were out on the phone talking for like 30 minutes. She grabbed their bowl and ate that crab. So she ate 2.5 buckets of crab, and she didn't get sick, nothing. The kid loves crab. So I don't know where they went, but I hope and I bought her she loves coconut cream pie. So I went to the bakery today, Marie Callender's. They make pies fresh every day. So I got her a coconut cream pie, 1 candle, and I got like a black spatula, and then I wrapped it in like string, and you pull the string and make it all curly. Moro CM, welcome to the show. So I brought that to her. I put the candle in the center, lit it, sang happy birthday to her.
User entered your channel.
Bought her brought her a plate, and and then she likes she loves anime. Loves freaking anime. She
User in your channel timed out.
She Mizuyaki or whatever, this anime. So even used, because I took her to Dimple Records because I was taking in some movies I was going to try and get rid of. Even used was like $14 a piece, but she freaking loves them, so I got her some of those. Her list was very simple. Her name is Paris, so I was going to take her to Paris on her 16th birthday, but you know what? Said she wasn't really feeling it this year on her. So anyway, so that is. Beans and Frank says so much for sports. Well, Beans and Frank, it's my daughter's 16th birthday, so you can go choke on a dick, brother. Anyway, so I hope she has a good time at dinner tonight. So football. Let's get into a little bit of football. And I'll give you some midweek parlays, and then we'll go to the parlays after, Friday, about the same time. Parlays, you could do 2, you could do 3, you could do as many as you want. I would recommend 3 being, kind of a safe. It's a little bit harder, but kind of the safe. Bills Jets. Buffalo's only favored by 3. Buffalo's going to win that game easily by 14. So there's your first one. Okay. Raiders, Dolphins, they got Oakland by 3. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm sorry to say, but, I just don't think it's going to happen. I wouldn't even touch that. Ravens, Titans, don't care about that game. Buccaneers, Saints, so this is one for you, Next Prophet. New Orleans is favored by 7. At home, they're always tough. Drew Brees is still one of the marquee quarterbacks in the league. I think New Orleans is going to win that game by 10. Downtown Boogie 214, welcome to the show. The Rams are hot. They're 5-2. They're playing the Giants 1-6. The Rams are favored by 3.5. Again, I think they will win by 10. So there's your second one. Broncos, Eagles by 8.5. It's at home. I think the Eagles could cover the 8.5. I really do. So I would say pick the Eagles. Falcons, Panthers. Jaguars. Here's the thing about the Jaguars. Jaguars are 4-3, but they've always been a thorn in another team's side, and they'll just slaughter them. Are they going to slaughter the Bengals? I think so. And a lot more by 5 because they are at home, and they've just been on fire all year. Now, granted, they've lost 3, but it's at home, man. Colts, Texans, they got Houston by 12.5. No. I don't think Houston will win by 12.5. If they do win, it might be by 6, not by 12.5. Here's your other parlay. Cardinals, 3-4, are going into Santa Clara, and they're playing the 49ers, who are 0-8. Arizona's favored by 2. they could easily cover that. And the last one that I will go for a parlay will be Chiefs, Cowboys. Kansas City is favored going into Dallas, mind you. They're playing at AT&T Stadium, which I don't like that. I know that it's advertising, but yeah. So they're going into Arlington, not Dallas, Arlington. So Chiefs going into Cowboys, Kansas City by 1. This is something that could be an upset. I mean, because you got the Ezekiel Elliott debacle. You know, you've got all that drama going on. Dak Prescott, in my opinion, is the gorilla glue that holds that team together. He's a strong guy mentally and physically. Okay? So, I say that the Chiefs will go into Cowboys land, Jerry World. They're going to win that game. But that is my second team that, you know, other than Raiders, I do like the Cowboys because those of you that watch the show on a continuous basis, I went to OU. And there have been a lot of OU players on the Cowboys, and I just, you know, and then I've had personal type experiences with them too. So I mean, I don't hate the Cowboys. I mean, I do like them, but are they my favorite team? No. Blue Tick Hound says OU has no shot at the playoffs. Blue Tick Hound, there shows your ignorance right there, brother. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they've lost how many games? This many. Okay. So on the last thing on that, Blue Tick Hound says they were an embarrassment last year. No, actually, they were not an embarrassment last year. You must not watch college football. Casey Spears asks, "Are you high?" Meaning to Blue Tick Hound, "Are you high?" Speaking of OU, Stanley says Dodgers are losing. Yeah, very good observation. Bedlam. The second, I've heard coaches say this more than once. If we lose every game this year, 2 games I need you to win. 1 versus Texas, down with the horns. And the other one is SU, the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Those are the ones that they want to win. So both teams are 7-1. But OU is traveling to Stillwater, Oklahoma, which is just a hop, skip, and a jump. And it's going to be 81 degrees that day. 81 degrees in October in Oklahoma. That's unheard of. Talk about global freaking warming. So you've got, that is a huge, I would say that Oklahoma and OSU is an interstate rivalry. So I would think that is a bigger, in my opinion, rivalry than between Texas and OU. OU, I mean, the matchup predictors are pretty even. They've got OU by 50.4% in that. But Baker Mayfield now, you got to keep Baker Mayfield. He's a Heisman Trophy candidate right now. The guy's got 2,628 yards. Okay, 23 TDs, 3 interceptions. But last weekend, he was missing like wide open guys. He was overthrown probably about 4 different times. So he gets flustered a little bit. And when he gets to that point, that's when he starts making mistakes. And he's a great running quarterback. He's a great scrambler. He's really good at getting out of the pocket, finding a receiver, whether it is a 5-yard pass or a 50. He's really good at finding receivers. So I think, OU, now points per game that OU scores on average is 42.9. But OSU edges them 44.5. OU allows 25.3 points a game. OSU allows 24.4. So they're kind of neck and neck right there. I think that Baker Mayfield is going to have a stellar day in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Alan Daniel 14, welcome to the show. And I think that, OU is going to come away with the win. So as far as the real quick, let's just kind of look at the rankings, shall we? Alabama, for the first time, has dropped to number 2. Now, Alabama and Georgia technically are like tied at number 1, but Georgia is above them at number 1. Alabama's number 2. Got Notre Dame. I could respect that. Barrett Dwayne, welcome to the show. Clemson for OU's at 5. Okay, OU 7-1, so you've got an 8-0 team, Wisconsin, that a lot of people ask, how can an 8-0 team be number 9? How come they're not up there? And the biggest answer, because I've asked this question to a lot of coaches, players, sports analysts, everything, because the BCS rankings are stupid. It's a mathematical thing. It's just dumb. A lot of those guys will say, well, look at the strength of schedule. Well, you look at some of the teams that Alabama plays, that's not that great of a strength of schedule. But, if you're 8-0, you should not have, you shouldn't be number 9, but you have a lot of teams 7-1. So we're going to go over some of these 7-1 teams that, when Penn State lost, they dropped five places. So, but I think that, and it bothers me too that an 8-0 team, is number 9. That's just me personally. So, 1 o'clock Pacific time, you got OU, Oklahoma State. That's going to be obviously the game that I watch. USC started out strong this year, but they're struggling. Now they're 17. They're playing Arizona, number 22. And USC's favored by 7. I'm not too sure about that one. You've got Michigan State, though. Now here could be an upset. You've got Michigan State at home. Penn State's coming in to Michigan State, but Penn State is favored by 8.5. That could be an upset. Watch for that upset. I'm just saying, put that on the shelf. That could be an upset. Wisconsin, Indiana. They're going into Bloomington, Indiana. That, and I know some people are going to say, how can a 3-5 team take on, an 8-0 and win? Indiana is always they're non-predictable or very unpredictable at home. They could suck, but as soon as they get home against a high caliber team, for some reason they step up. That could be another upset. I would watch for that one. South Carolina, Georgia. Georgia is favored by 24 points. They're going to cover that. They might even cover it by 34 points. Wake Forest going into Notre Dame. Notre Dame 14 point favorites. I think they're going to cover that easy. Ohio State, Iowa. I know it's probably not going to happen, but I would love. That would be funny to me for Ohio State to lose to Iowa. That would be something I'd like to see. Now here's something, and I very rarely, and again, for those of you who watch the show, know that I don't like the Texas Longhorns. Down with the horns. They are playing TCU in Fort Worth. Okay, TCU is number 8. TCU is favored by 6.5 points. This is the game that I am going for the Texas Longhorns, down with the horns, to win. Okay? Very few. That, and then when they played Oklahoma State. So that would be an upset that I would love to see. LSU, Alabama, I don't think they have a chance. Alabama's favored by 21.5 points. I think Alabama covers that quite easily. And I don't want to give, any parlays really on college football just yet, because things can happen. What do they say in Young Guns 2? Oh, man. Something between a cup and a lip. Anyway. But yeah. And, well, right now, let's just jump back over to baseball. I'm looking on the screen over here. You've got the man on first and second. You've got the Dodgers up at bat, and looks like the Astros are in a bit of trouble. There are no outs. So you got 2 balls, 2 strikes on Bellinger. Now the thing on Bellinger, what the guy does is he'll take a ball inside and swing at it. McClure, he throws that ball. It looks like a strike at first, and then he'll chase it. So Bellinger loves to chase the low, and he loves to chase them high. So can the Dodgers capitalize on this? They have to. It's the bottom of the third, and he just swung at another inside pitch, and that's his weak point, and he struck out. So McClure got lucky on that one, and now he's going for the double play ball. So possibly, well, we got the pitching coach coming out to the mound right now. So let's see what happens. I can't see that far. If anyone's watching the game, let me know what the pitch count is. So let's, well, it looks like he's taking him out. Okay, then. So the pitch count, I don't know what happened there. I mean, it's only the bottom of the third. I don't know why he got pulled. He just struck somebody out. But we got Yasiel Puig coming up to bat. And Yasiel Puig, unfortunately, he's either really hot or really cold. He's not been lukewarm at all this series. If the Dodgers could just get one run, chip away at those runs, just one run, and we'll get that happening. So, real quick, let's talk, and I know we've been talking about this for weeks, and that's why I waited towards the end to talk about this. Still, players are kneeling, and I told you guys, watch. The Texans coach pissed off the players. What did they all do? They locked arms. Every single freaking one of them kneeled during the national anthem. Every one of them. And I told you that's what they would do. Papa John's says, bye. Peace out. We're done. We're out of here. We're gone. We're not going to deal with the NFL anymore because they're getting a lot of backlash from consumers. And so here's the thing. So let me read this to you. The net worth of John Schnatter, founder and CEO of the pizza chain Papa John's, fell $70 million in less than 24 hours after the company released its third quarter financial report. Blah blah blah. Okay, so they're losing money. Okay, so investors were not pleased. The shares were down 11%, and it's about a little bit over $60 per share. Okay, so $70 million is nothing to sneeze at. So so here's a quote from this gentleman, and I quote: "The NFL has hurt us by not resolving the current debacle." Okay, so Papa John's pulled all this stuff from the NFL and whatnot. Now, and I've said this, it is not a debacle for the NFL. Alabama Boy says NFL stock is doing nothing but tanking right now. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, and I know a lot of people, they're for kneeling, they're not for kneeling, they've got a lot of opinions on this, okay? But the fact of the matter is freedom of speech, freedom of expression. You cannot say, and I'm prior military, I will say that every time. I've fought in wars. I've seen combat. I've technically fought for your freedom. So how right is it for me to be like, I fought for your freedom of speech, but you need to shut up? Okay? Don't protest now. Don't do this. I fought for your freedom, but you're not really free right now. You can't do that. It is not a debacle. The more that the media talks about this, Cherry Trees, welcome to the show, the more that it's going to keep happening. The NFL, 100% legally, justice of the peace, the highest courts in the United States of America, cannot tell you as a human being, as a football player, you have to stand for the national anthem. You have to put your hand over your heart. You have to take your hat off. Now, taking your hat off, I understand. It's a respect thing. I totally get that. But you cannot, as an entity, as government, as anyone, say, you have to stand. No, you do not. That would be like telling a Muslim, you got to pray to Jesus. No, I freaking don't. It's freedom. You can't do that. You cannot make somebody do that. So the debacle that people are saying, screw them. I'm sorry. Now, me personally, I'm not going to kneel during the national anthem. That's just me personally. It's not just a song to me. Now, I don't like the part where it says "Land of the Free" because we're not, and that's a whole nother show. But I respect the flag. Okay, I will stand for the flag because I fought for that flag. 17 years old I was when I went to the military. 17 years old. Okay, I mean, I've seen things before my 18th birthday that no man has probably ever seen or should see in his freaking life, okay? So I respect the flag, all right? But I don't respect... Now, if these people want to be like, we're pulling our ads, you guys are not, the advertisers, yes. They kind of keep the ball rolling. I mean, I think, don't quote me on this, I believe AT&T pays $25 million a year to be AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas for the Cowboys. I believe that. Last time I checked, don't quote me on that. I'm not exactly sure. But, yeah, you can pull that. It's $25 million, but you cannot let the advertisers dictate what you do, because what is that? That's a dictatorship. Well, if you don't do what we like, then we're going to pull our ads. Well, piss off. Freaking take your ads. Fine. Bye. See ya. Someone else will come along. FanDuel will come along. DraftKings will come along. Somebody else. So Papa John's is saying goodbye. So does that mean Peyton Manning will no longer be doing the commercials for Papa John's? Because, first off, Peyton Manning's not in the NFL anymore. And I would not say that he represented the NFL anymore in that capacity. But there are many advertisers taking their toys and going home. I think that that's fine. That's their freedom to do that. And hey, if that's what you want to do, if that's your conviction, fine. That would be like, if someone doesn't like your religious beliefs, well, we're not going to, you can't do that. You've got to separate that stuff. The whole point of this thing in the NFL, folks, it is peaceful demonstration. Again, whether you're for it or whether you're not, it is highly hypocritical for someone to say, you've got freedom of speech, but only what I say you could say, okay? Only what I say you could do, okay? That is not freedom of speech. Again, that is backdoor dictatorship. So, I mean, where is it going to end? I don't know. I believe that they should use and I've said this many times on the show, I believe that the players that are kneeling, okay, it's fine, kneel, but you need to use your voice and be like, this is why. Do something to change. Kneeling during the national anthem isn't going to change anything. It really is not. It's going to piss people off. It's going to do X, Y, and Z. And then there's going to be some people that applaud you. Fine. But it's not going to change anything. Go into your communities. Change something. Okay? That's all I'm saying on that. All right. We're done. Now, let's dive into, in our what? We've got a few more minutes left. Let's dive into some MMA action. MMA this weekend, I told you guys, the fight I'm looking to see is the Bisping and St. Pierre fight. But let's talk a little McGregor real quick. We haven't talked about McGregor in a long time. Conor McGregor apologizes for use of gay slur. Okay. So, here's what he said, and I quote, I meant no disrespect. I campaigned when we were trying to get same-sex marriage legalized. Things just get blown up. Any chance they get, they love to throw me under the bus. It is what it is. I'd like to say sorry for what I said and try to move from it. Okay? Well, you know, I honestly, man, I think everyone's getting too politically correct. Now, if you watch a comedian, yeah, they could be on stage and say almost anything that they want about any race, about any religion, any sex, whatever, because it's ha-ha funny. I think people are getting a bit too sensitive when it comes to politically correct stuff. But I'm not advocating doing it or saying it or anything like that. I'm just saying, you know, now, back in the day, it was, hey, I'm Latino. And then now, oh, no, I'm not a Latino, I'm a Latina. And then now, it's all politically correct, because there's Latina for women and Latino for male. And now, you can't be Latino or Latina. There's just a broad spectrum. There's a new word for it now. Again, I think that when it comes to sports or any other thing, I mean, McGregor is kind of a mouthy guy, and he talks off the cuff quite a bit. And, you know, he's going to say a few things here and there. You know, I mean, okay, look back, you know, in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. When Bill and Ted went to hug each other like bro hugs, they looked at each other like fag. You know, I mean, you do that nowadays, and it's like, you know, the rainbow people will fall from the sky and crucify you. But again, it was said in jest, but whatever. Okay, anyway, back to the freaking fight. So, fight that I want to see again is the Bisping St. Pierre fight. It is in New York, and it's gonna be a showdown. It's gonna be a smackdown, and I think, my personal opinion, that Georges St. Pierre is going to control the fight the entire fight because a couple reasons. One, he's been out of the game for a while, over 2 years. That could be a positive or negative, depends on how you look at it. I mean, people are saying, well, you know, he's rusty, this and that. You have to understand that Georges St. Pierre has been training. Yeah, he might not have been training at, like, full throttle. He might have dropped it down to, you know, third gear a little bit, but don't confuse that with not training. He trained all the time. He rested a little bit, but he trained, okay? He was mainly they would find the things that were not working for him. They're like, we need to change this, change this, change this. And he's coming back. Michael Bisping, it's going to throw him off. I'm going to tell you why. Because Bisping does not have any tape on St. Pierre for the past 2 years. So he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know kind of what to expect. He only knows what Georges St. Pierre did before. So, Bisping, 31-7, okay? And Georges St. Pierre is 25-2. Roberti is the first day on Periscope. Welcome to the show. Merkoser, welcome to the show. So we've got, you know, these two cats coming in. It's going to be a battle royale. I think that Georges St. Pierre is going to bust up Bisping pretty good, and he's going to win by a submission. I would love to see a knockout. I mean, a knockout is one of my favorite things to see, but I like submissions more, and I'll tell you why. Because you're making somebody submit to you, okay? And in the fight world, that is more demeaning than getting your lights just knocked out. You know, if you guys watch UFC Fight Night last week, you know, a buddy of mine was fighting over in Brazil, Max Griffin, and he got his bell rung pretty good, but he also rung the other dude's bell, and it was a battle back and forth, back and forth. Now, granted, he lost the fight, but he was a warrior. There's no shame in that. But let's go back to Diaz fighting McGregor, and what happened. a little tap out. That is more of an embarrassment. I mean, ask around. I mean, what's your opinion? What do you guys think? Do you think if you were a fighter, would you rather be knocked out or would you rather tap out? You know? I don't know what's going to happen here. We've got a text here, and we're gonna answer that text real quick. Someone is asking about they're asking about the fight. The one thing that I always talk about that I say you guys should be excited about, that's the undercards. Yeah, it's great. It's a great fight that these guys are doing. It's great. They got a couple of really good fights, but it's the undercards, I tell you. And not just them, but the early prelims. You got the early prelims and the prelims. Early prelims, you got 3 fights. Okay? You've got some really good fights. Some people are talking about, Johnny Hendricks, and he's fighting Paulo Costa. Okay? 18-7. Hendricks has 7 losses. Okay? Paulo has 0. He is 10-0. 90% by knockout or TKO. Jay Pesci, welcome to the show. So Hendricks is a brawler. Paulo, if a lot of people that I know that pick fighters, and I'm not even kidding, they do not look at their record. Tyrone, welcome to the show. They look at their physique. Oh, this guy looks better than that guy. I'm going to pick him. Okay, that's fine. If that's how you want to pick your fighter, okay, that's fine. But Paulo, I think is I mean, that one too is going to be a brawl. But the last 2 fights, you've got animosity in the bantamweight title. Between Cody Garbrandt and TJ Dillashaw. Animosity. They do not like each other. And I'm not talking, hey, let's put on a good show for the media. No, they really don't freaking like each other. They used to fight on the same team, Team Alpha Male, and both of them are cocky. Both of them can be arrogant. That's fine. Both of them can talk. But Cody Garbrandt does that too much in the ring, and he loses focus of the fight. And he could get knocked out that quick. TJ Dillashaw's got quick feet. I've seen him knock dudes' heads completely off their shoulders, okay? But I think Garbrandt is going to fight with emotion, okay? He's going to be angry when he fights. He's going to try and go for the kill. And Dillashaw, I think, yeah, he's going to play. He's going to fight too with emotions, but he's going to keep it in check. He's going to keep the octagon in his brain in check with these emotions, and he's going to watch Garbrandt. And he's going to pick him apart. That fight's almost as exciting as the Bisping GSP fight. Jay Pesci just asked Bisping or GSP. I got GSP all day long. And Jay Pesci, I know you just joined, but I said GSP by submission. And I think it's going to go 4 rounds. And I think Bisping is going to get jacked just like he did the last fight. He's going to get cut. He's going to have a big goose egg on his face. And so that's my prediction. We've got 2 minutes left on the show, folks. So, just slam your questions in there, and I'll try and ask. Or Jay Pesci says one of the best wrestlers of all time, and I'm assuming he's talking about GSP. GSP will take you both standing up and wrestling, but see, his ground game is where he can get you. And this is another fight. Bisping is going to fight with emotion, and it's going to kind of overtake him. He's going to fight. Because when Bisping gets pissed off, he makes little mistakes. And it's those little mistakes that GSP is going to, is going to pick apart. I mean, but if this was one of the fights that Jay Pesci says Bisping is a big mouth. Yeah, absolutely is. But again, I think he's going to lose his belt, being Bisping, and I think ESP is going to take it by submission. And then we'll see what happens after that. Michael Bisping is going to do a Ronda Rousey, meaning when she lost to Holly Holm, she was just like all confident. She's not, doing this and that. She's jacking around. She's letting everybody watch her. It was almost like a Rocky 3, when Rocky was, doing all this stuff and let everyone. That's kind of how I personally feel that Bisping will fight. He's not going to, but George St. Pierre is going to fight with such precision. He has a game plan for every minute and every second of that fight. Bisping has everything broke down. He's going to go, I'm going to do this if he does this. I'm going to counter with this. Jay Pesci says, I missed, but what sponsors left the NFL? Well, the biggest one is Papa John's right now. So we'll see who follows suit. But ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. We got to go. We will be back this Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Get your questions ready. Yes, I think TJ has a shot. We love you. Peace out.